We're going to preview Cowboys versus Lions here. We're going to change it up. The likes have not worked the past 2 weeks. Instead, if you want the Cowboys to beat the Lions, spam me in the comment section. Whoever does it the most will get a free shout-out, or not free, just a shout-out on our other preview later this week. So spam me in the comment section right now. Cowboys are heavy favorites at home on Saturday Night Football. It's on ESPN, by the way, against the Detroit Lions. 6.5 point favorites at home against a Lions that has a better record because the Lions defense is not that good. It's why the over-under point total here is 53.5. The bookmakers feeling a big-time scoring output in this matchup. 2 top 5 offenses. Cowboys rank 2nd in scoring offense. The Lions rank 5th in scoring offense. The difference with over about 4.5 points per game on average takes you from number 5 to number 24. The Lions defense has some very troubling tendencies so far this season. Here are the Cowboys' last 5 games. Blowout win over the Commanders, blowout win over the Seattle, blowout win over the Eagles, and then some collapses. Bad showing against the Bills, a narrow loss against the Miami Dolphins. The Lions, meanwhile, have also shown some inconsistencies here. Lose to Green Bay on Thanksgiving because that's what the Lions do on Thanksgiving, apparently. Beat the Saints narrowly. Bad loss to the Bears. Blow out Denver. Squeak by a win against the Minnesota Vikings. All of which is kind of like, okay, it's not the best outcome, not the worst outcome. Both these teams have kind of shown flashes of like, are they good enough? Like there's some, like almost every team this year outside of maybe 1 or 2, everyone has fraudulent tendencies this season. The Lions should have been swept by Chicago. They could easily be below 500 in the AFC North this year. Instead, they've already clinched the division. So who you got winning this week? C for the Cowboys, L for the Lions. It'll be today's pinned comment. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and go vote. Spam your C for the Cowboys, or vote L. Lions is perfect because it's an L for the Cowboys and L for the Lions. It's a loss. Get it? Makes sense. Go vote if the ad comes here on YouTube at the pinned comment. With the Cowboys playing on Saturday, think of today's, this is from the Tuesday report, as the normal Wednesday one. So everything pushed up a day. Basically a walkthrough practice, not a lot going on. To begin with, Rico, Dowdle, Malik, Hooker, Hunter Luepke, all limited. Limited on quote-unquote Wednesday. Pretty much always means you're able to play, so very low to no concern for those 3 guys, only the Luepke injury being the new one. The 2 to monitor then, Tyron Smith. Let's begin with him and his back injury. The Cowboys seem optimistic that Smith is going to be able to go. Never thought he'd do anything on Tuesday. Is worth mentioning it was labeled as back, not rest. That is still an issue then for Tyron Smith. It's not just, I had a destination. No, they would have said rest. So the 5 guys they put on rest. Smith still battling it. Let's check in on later today, Wednesday, on Thursday. See what the status is. He needs a limited session, or I don't think he plays against the Lions. Same is true for Johnathan Hankins, who I want out there against this Lions team. I think you want him as a run-stopping option, especially more so than Carl Davis. We'll probably get our answer, by the way, based on practice squad call-ups, regardless of the status revealed for Hankins, whether it's questionable or not. If Carl Davis gets called up again, Hankins ain't going to play. We'll see what happens later in the week. I hope he's able to go. Finally then, 5 players getting the old rest designation, i.e. you're old and your injury history in the past, we're not going to practice you. Brandon Cooks, Stephon Gilmore, by the way, no injury label. So when he left that game and came back, I was like, maybe he seemed like he hurt something. Whatever it was, it's not even enough to get a designation. So he is fine. He's going to play. Tank Lawrence, too. Jordan Lewis. Also worth noting, it's pure rest for Zach Martin. So that thigh quad injury, no longer an issue. A very good sign for the Dallas Cowboys. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Links in the comments in the description of today's show. It's daily fantasy made easy. You pick 2 to 6 player stat projections, watch those winnings roll in, pick more than or less than on your stat projections and come out on top. I've hit 9 of my last 12 flex plays. That's very much in the money so far this year on Prize Picks. My selections, give me less than Jonathan Taylor yards on the ground against a suddenly good Raiders defense, more than Cooper Kupp receiving yards against the Giants, and as we'll get into, more than Dak Prescott passing yards this week, 275.5 against a Lions defense that just allowed 411 yards against the Minnesota Vikings. So I like that matchup for Dallas and Dak. We'll go more into it here in a second. But again, links in the comments and the description of today's show. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS. Number one key to victory then, let Dak deal. There's no arguing against it. This offense is at its best and has the best chance of winning games when they allow the offense to be aggressive. You can ask Dak, and CeeDee Lamb already said that this week already. He said they have to be aggressive and stick to the script. The script is let Dak deal. That's where we're at. He leads the NFL in passing touchdowns this season. Wherever he finishes in the MVP race, who cares? He's going to be in that. He's been in that conversation for a while. The interceptions have not been the problem because they never were going to be going into the year. The receivers don't drop passes. He'll throw for 4,000 yards, probably pass that number in this game. Been awesome this year. The Lions defense, bad pass defense. They've really regressed since the bye, by the way. 23 yards allowed through the air. They're 24th in pass EPA per play. They're 26th in success rate. This is a defense that you can and should take advantage of. They can force some turnovers, sure. Attack them. Attack that defense. You will have success. So give me the score prediction then of the Cowboys against the Lions. Sound off for me. We'll get to mine at the end of the video, but sound off for me in the comment section right now. Key to victory number 2, feed the Lamb. This is not that hard. CeeDee Lamb is playing like a top 3, 4, 5, whatever, wide receiver in football. He has been awesome this year. 109 catches, will pass the 1,500-yard mark in this game if you do your job as a coaching staff. They even gave him carries. How this team went from the thing I have screamed for years, put Lamb in the backfield, give him some inside zone handoffs, give him some angle routes, to then not target him for like 4 straight drives, doesn't make sense. Cowboys had 17 points when they gave Lamb a target or a touch against the Dolphins. 3 when they did not. It's not that hard. It was a complete coaching failure, and this is on the shoulders of Mike McCarthy, to go away from CeeDee Lamb against the Miami Dolphins. Do not make the same mistake. There's nobody on that line team, and I love Brian Branch, that can really hang with CeeDee Lamb for an entire game. They don't have the horses to feed the hell out of him. So where would you rank CeeDee Lamb this year only, among NFL wide receivers? Sound off for me in the comment section right now. Key to victory number 3. We'll stick on the offense here, since they're probably more to win than the defense was last week. The ground game cannot kill you. And notice my exact terminology. Not get the ground game going, not don't feature it. It can't kill you. The advanced numbers this year do not look very good. Tony Pollard at 4.05 yards per carry. Rico Dowdle, 3.94. Neither is very good. Yards after contact on average, 2.86, 2.89. For reference, by the way, both of those numbers are right around the 50 percentile mark. So they're doing about an average-ish job of breaking tackles. But the difference between the yards per carry and yards after contact, the O-line's not doing a great job. 18 explosive runs, 10 or more yards versus 6. Negative EPA per rush. Not great success rates either. It's not just a running back issue. There's blame there too. Pollard, go to the edge on the little speed option play. Go score. Don't give the ball to Luepke and have him fumble. Give it to Dowdle. What are we doing out there? It's not that hard, But the offensive line has not done a good job. The scheme does not work. Just run duo. Duo is the meta for ground games that work, or steal from the Niners more. You ran those toss plays that worked, inside toss plays. Why'd you stop? Here is your single biggest constant when you've lost games the past 3 years with a healthy Dak Prescott at quarterback. Your ground game sucks. Now, Arizona had great success. They are the league's worst run defense, so it does make some sense. Niners, 3.2 yards per carry. Eagles, 4.2. Bills, 3.9. Dolphins, 2.8. These are running backs only, so no Dak, no receiver stuff. Last year, 3.8 against Tampa, 5.7 against Green Bay, 3.8 against Jacksonville on 35 carries, mind you, 2.4 against Washington, 3 flat against San Francisco. We can go back to 2021. Tampa, 3.1 yards per carry. Denver, 4.4. Chiefs actually good, 5.1, but few carries. Raiders, 3.2. Cardinals, 2.1. Niners, 2.8. There is a minimum correlation here. But when opposing teams' strategy on defense is, we're going to keep everything in front of us, we're going to have some shell coverage, some deep safety stuff, an easy way to beat that is to run the ball down their throats. Teams are daring Dallas to run the football. And the result in those losses, 3.8 yards per carry. And that includes some good games. But they've had almost as many sub 3 yard per carry games as above 4 yard per carry games. That's a massive issue, guys. The last 3 years in losses, 3.8 yards per carry, they turn into a bottom 5 run offense. And when teams are daring you to run the football, that's not going to work. And Pollard gets blamed, Dowdle gets blamed, the O-line gets blamed, the scheme gets blamed. I kind of think it's scheme, O-line, then backs, because I think if you want to run the ball outside of McCaffrey, the offensive line and the scheme, more so than the backs, like, it's not working. So please, and we'll get to this more in depth for number 5, do not go conservative shell in this game. They can't do it. So do you trust this running game? Y for yes, N for no. Sound off for me in the comment section right now. Number 4, key to victory, win the turnover battle. Should have success here. Now, the Lions defense can get some takeaways. They will give up the ball as well. Here are the turnover numbers. The Lions tied for 17th in turnovers this year, 21 total. The Cowboys actually lead the league in turnovers, in the positive sense. They have only caught the ball 13 times this season. All that bemoaning turnover machine Prescott, and here he is with the fewest turnover offense. Go figure. Lions takeaways, 21st, not that great. Cowboys, not been as good as previous seasons. They're tied for 17th this season, but it's Jared Goff. If you get a Jared Goof game, take advantage of it. Make it happen. I'm a bit more worried with the inconsistencies on defense this year. You might get more of a Jared Good game. Now, we will be live for Cowboys-Lions on Saturday night, so make sure you are subscribed. Don't miss out. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/@CowboysTV. Number 5, no cowardly BS, no penalties. The last 2 weeks, the penalty numbers have gone down, to be fair, but the timing of them have been maybe worse than ever. Just brutal, back-breaking, game-impacting penalties that, frankly, they were mostly called correctly. And Big Mike's gone conservative coward. The rain is bad. We get scared of the weather. Why? What are you doing? It didn't make sense. You have to be aggressive. And this is a team you should be aggressive against. You might not match up that great defensively against the Lions offense, which is really good, but your offense should be able to light them up. So be aggressive and don't get scared if you have 1 or 2 bad drives either. My score prediction. I like Dallas this week. I will be livid if Dallas does not win this game. This is a game they should win. My faith will be shaken to an all-time low this season. Well, maybe the Niners game, but still close to it. If they cannot beat Detroit, if they go back to the same stupid BS that does not work. Give me the Cowboys to win 36-28.